Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Payne, and today another snake has risen from the tall grass. It's none other than football's stick-figured French grandpa, Arsene Wenger. You little conniving little weasel. I guess manipulating and turning your whole fan base against a club that you carried for multiple decades. It feels like a lifetime. After they booted you out, you thought, what should I do? Should I go retire on a vineyard? Should I go see the world? You said, you know what? Let me throw my hat in the pundit game and then just become the face of a movement that wants to destroy the bodies of every top flight football player. I really, for context, Arsene Wenger is pushing an agenda for suits, for FIFA, for the people that want to make money, not for people that want to help players. For people that want to make money, Arsene Wenger is going around saying that it's a good idea if every 2 years we have the World Cup. Now, in theory, that would also mean that every year in between that, there would be the Euros and the Copa, or, the Copa wanted to do that, but in theory, that would be the Euros. So we just had the Euros this summer, World Cup next summer, next summer, Euros, next summer, World Cup, which sounds good if you're just a guy on a couch with ADHD and nothing better to do during the summer. But it's hell for these players who are literally going to be run down, and their bodies are just going to break if they can't have an off season, or players are going to have to start opting out. It's basically what happens with men's basketball in the NBA in America, where half the best players in the whole league just don't play for the national team because they just want an off season. That's kind of just how it's like, listen, I've had a lot of stuff, a lot of games. I'm tired. We're the best anyway. I just don't feel like playing right now. And that's what they do. That's what they do. And granted, that's with like every 4 to 2 years of these things. But football, it's like times 1,000 with this stuff. We just went from a COVID year with no fans and schedules insane. Some teams playing, 3 matches a week for multiple weeks in a row. Players being run down. Manchester United, for Harry Maguire and Bruno playing almost every match possible. Thank God they didn't get some kind of long-lasting injury from that. But Arsene Wenger thinks it's a good idea. I think he says that's what the fans want. Doesn't matter what the fans want. And by the way, I don't think that's even true. That's not true. I doubt that's even true at all. I think that's what the fans want. First of all, with respect to the fans, screw you if that's what you want. I'm sorry. But these guys aren't just, hamsters in a ball that just keep running and running and running. Believe it or not, they need rest. They need to see their families. They need to not be your little monkey with the cymbals just, dancing for you on the pitch every weekend. And you would think a guy like Arsene Wenger would understand that. A guy that's been around players his whole life, has played the game, has coached and managed the game to the highest levels except for the Champions League. Don't tell that to Arsenal fans, but it's a snake. It's a snake move. It really is a snake move. This is the new agenda. Because if you think about it, these suits were hoping, without resistance, they were hoping to pull off within the same year. Because trust me, if they could pull it off today, they would have already done it. Within a year or two, they wanted to pull off the Super League, and they wanted to pull off the World Cup every 2 years. Can you think of how scummy these people are trying to turn football into? It's not just even rip the heart out. It's literally the soul, the body. We're gonna rip the spine out of the body, and we're just gonna dangle the corpse on a fence and just let you look at it. Just war eagle, like a Viking, just psychic Just open it up and look. There's the guts of football. It's out there. It's over. It's dead. That's what these people want. They want money. They want reassurance. The Barca people are still trying to get the Super League put through because they're in shambles. Same thing with Real Madrid. It's absolutely shameful. And I would ask if Arsene Wenger had shame, but I don't think he does. I really don't think you could try to take your golden reputation and try to throw it away so quickly as to entertain a bunch of suits by saying, I think the players would be okay because the fans want a World Cup every 2 years. Maybe the wrong kind of fans, but if the World Cup was every 2 years, it would kind of just become like here we go. Okay. And then, is the Euros every year? Or are we just throwing away the Euros entirely? Because I love the Euros, but are we just going to do World Cup now? See, these things have effects and stuff like that, and it's just bottom line. It's bottom line. It's bottom line. And then you think about, so World Cup every 2 years, and then they got to pick a location ahead of time, and then most of these countries have to build the infrastructure for the World Cup to come in, and then FIFA leaves that country, and then they just have all these empty stadiums. They have all these empty venues and stuff now that they built for FIFA. Because let's not get mistaken, it doesn't take someone watching a John Oliver Last Week Tonight video to understand that the FIFA is corrupt. Amazing. It's how easily some of these people will just throw away their reputation to entertain the suits. Shameful. It's shameful. And like I said, if they could, they would have got this done yesterday. They would have got this done a month ago, 6 months ago. Because this isn't a new story. We heard, the crumbs of this months ago. And we're like, oh, this is so stupid. But now they're making the push for it. They're making, they gathered, the resources and everything, and they're making the push for it. It needs to be met with the same energy that the Super League did. Because now they're trying to do this, and it's literally going to run players down into even their earlier 30s instead of being able to go to maybe 35 with a long career. If you want to play for your country in your club full time, you're just going to be at risk every day. And it's going to come to the point where people like, Marcus Rashford or England nationals or Harry Kane or whatever, a lot of them are going to have to decide, which one am I going to go 100% in? Because if I go 100% in both, I'm going to get injured. So do I go 100% for Tottenham or do I go 100% for England? And then a conundrum comes at play. If this is what fans want, then the fans are wrong. I'm sorry. Sometimes fans are wrong. But it's not what fans want. It's what the suits want. And they're trying to point it to me and you. They're trying to say, you want it, I don't want it, so you and I are the enemy. We're not the enemy. They're the enemy. Arsene Wenger is becoming the enemy. He's becoming the face and the poster boy, the old wrinkly leather-faced poster boy for the enemy. They wanted to do the Super League last year. Never forget that. And never forget what rose up from the resistance to the Super League to stop it. Never forget that. That same energy needs to be placed into something like this, because it was one thing for the Super League because that truly affected the fans. But now, this World Cup stuff is going to affect the players. Your players, my players, the players that we love. They already are vocalizing, saying that this is a terrible idea. So before they try to push this without resistance, resist. If you're a Glazers out person who, got radicalized during the Super League drama, that same energy needs to be put here. Because I'm sure as an England fan or whatever nationality you are and what club you support, you do not want to see your players dragged through the ground playing upwards of 40, 50, whatever plus matches a season, and then go immediately from that a couple of weeks later with no off season to a full-length tournament where they can just injure themselves. And then after the tournament, they got a few weeks until they got to start training again for the next season. So then people that participate in the national teams are going to miss like the first couple weeks of the regular season because of either being on holiday or trying to rest up. You see where this doesn't, like, the gears just don't mesh here. They don't mesh. They just collide and they create a cluster. We need to recognize this, and we do. That Arsene Wenger and these suits, they don't care, and they will try to manipulate. They will try to push this, and at some point, we just have to stand up like we did last year and say no. But ultimately, just shame on you, Arsene Wenger. You old wrinkly purse bag.